Mike's Daily Podcast.
What a crazy, crazy podcast. Hello, welcome to episode 1123. My name is Mike Matthews. Welcome to Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valleyton. Today, we hear from Madame Rootabega, Valentino, Bison Bentley, plus the return of the much-loved news segment where we'll find out something interesting about Hamilton. It's called Wow, That's Wild.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
No, wait, it's called the Wow, That's Wild Files. That's right.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Well, today I had to take out my Sunday and go to Costco. Oh, it's an awful Costco run day. Make a run to Costco day because everybody's there and you can't move your carts and you freaking wear. Everybody is just... And those carts are huge and people stop.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
They gotta stop and get their damn samples. So they just sit there and you're like, excuse me,
Mike's
I can't get around you.
Daily
I know you're enjoying
Podcast.
your delicious spinach.
Yeah!
Spinach spread or sausage with the toothpick, the salsa with the tortilla chips. Oh, the popcorn. I did that. And then I can't get any of the samples because the woman rolls up and has to give it all the things that are left for the samples to her kids. And some of her kids take 3 at a time. I mean, come on. Costco is just not fun anymore. What, Mike? Costco was fun at one time? Yeah, it was kind of fun when it wasn't so frickin' busy. Anyway, what ended up happening was I got all the food I wanted, and, a lot of it has to be refrigerated, so then I had to go to work, and thankfully my work has a refrigerator, and I put all my food in the fridge. Now I just gotta remember to take it with me, because I filled up the fridge with all my food. My romaine hearts, my Costco rotisserie chicken. Always buy, here's my tip. Oh, I have my little money tip for you now. The Cutting Corners Corner! Yeah, I didn't steal that idea from the radio station that I work at, because all they do is talk about money all day. No, this is just a real idea I had. Oh, look who just walked in. Wait, don't say anything yet. Okay, Makamatsu. I told you not to say anything yet. Okay. Okay, go ahead, say something. It's Madame Rootabega. Stop telling me what to do. Okay. What is your money tip? My money tip is... Ah, crap, now I forgot. With all these interruptions and everything. Yeesh. It had something to do with Costco and buying things there. Duh. Oh, yeah, fruit at Costco has gotten so expensive because everything's organic. Oh, but Mike, we don't want to hurt the earth. We don't want to put bad chemicals in our bodies. Okay, you get that anyway from Costco frozen vegetables. They like to put a little ounce of listeria in all their food, it seems like. I got to Costco 35 minutes. Just 35 minutes after they opened, and it was slammed on a Sunday. I asked the guy on the way out, is it always like this on Sunday? He's like, no, it's always like this. I'm like, oh, okay. And I went to the one in Danville, which to some people, they think it's called Damville, because there's so many hot women there. It's like, Damville. Speaking of hot women, Anja Manuel is look who else just walked in, is the hottest author I have ever seen on C-SPAN 2. What a beautiful woman. And she wrote some book about Iraq or whatever. I don't know what she was talking about. I just heard this the whole time she was talking. Yeah, so that's what I was going to say about Costco. Oh, no matter when you go to whatever day, whatever you do, when you go to Costco, there's 2 things you must get. First off, you must eat a hot dog, their hot dog deal, because it's $1.50 for a hot dog and a drink. And they give you a huge hot dog, and you will not find that anywhere. So you've got to do that. They operate that on a loss. So take advantage of that and always get a rotisserie chicken. Always. Because that's at a loss. At $5. Everybody else charging like $6. What? Andrew Zimmern's got this strange rice bar wrapped in seaweed. I missed it. I meant the sound effect to go before me saying seaweed. But yeah, that looks delicious. I forget what they call those. And it's got like some Spam and stuff in it too. Ground up. And he's eating this from a food truck. This is running commentary from the Food Channel. Oh, look who else just walked in.
Hello, Mike. It's Valentino, the parking attendant, and that's actually the Travel Channel day.
And it's Bison Bentley. Do you know that? It's a Travel Channel. Sorry, guys. I messed it up. But Andrew Zimmern looks like me, basically. He looks like me, talks like me. You see, it's true, that a host of a Travel Channel show like you, looks like me because you're bald and you got your glasses. Well, I don't have glasses yet. I'm going to need them soon. My LASIK eye surgery has lasted me almost 10 years. But he's bald, and we have similar faces, kind of Jabba the Hutt-like, so... But he eats the strangest things. That's why his show is called Bizarre Foods. And I am done talking about him. But I would like to mention a couple other things that I saw on TV that made me very depressed. Well, one of them I didn't watch on TV. I watched on Netflix, and that was the Peabody Sherman movie. Okay, I loved that cartoon as a kid. If you watch the cartoon now, you go, hey, this is really intelligent. Hey, this is really smart. The cartoon is like got these little subtle jokes that anyone can get, and they're pretty funny and smart. They did not do that for the movie. First, they get Ty Burrell, or whatever his name is, from Modern Family. The guy who talks like this all the time. Wait, who's the dog? Is it Sherman or Peabody? To be the dog, anyway. And the dog's supposed to sound all intelligent. And it doesn't work. Why? Why did you have him do it? And then I noticed Ariel Winters also in the movie. And she also is, of course, with Ty on Modern Family. So that's a whole ABC Disney crossover BS thing. Speaking of Disney, what else have they ruined? Oh, yeah, they ruined Star Wars with their stupid Star Wars Lego TV show. I turned that on, and there's Jabba the Hutt. He's back again in my podcast. He's mentioned yet again for a second time. And he is talking to this character. It's sort of like a humorous look at Star Wars with Lego-esque shapes. And there's this sort of a Jabba the Hutt wannabe. And the voice of that is the guy who voices the Sheik on Aqua Teen Hunger Force. And I'm like, no, that guy sold out. Because Aqua Teen Hunger Force was this irreverent, bizarre cartoon that when you watched it, you're like, nobody's watching it, just me. And this is before YouTube had a bunch of funny stuff that people were doing independently like that all the time. And you were like watching it on a cable network and going, this is pretty good. Even though it's ridiculously dumb and silly, like this podcast. But I watched that, and then I got just so depressed. I'm like, this. Oh, and then as if I wasn't depressed enough, the next thing I flipped to is the Smurf movie. Oh my God, with Neil Patrick Harris, who sold out for that one, and who John Oliver or James Oliver, whatever his name is, John Oliver, right? From the week This Week Tonight or whatever. He was in that movie, and he regrets it to this day. But I'm like, okay, you're probably saying, Mike, you don't have kids. You don't know. They need to watch shows like that are stupid and dumb. They like that kind of thing. No. That is not... that's the higher standard. Please. Can we? Thank you. Just the awful crap that Hollywood has made, and Disney primarily is my focus of my rant here. And then, I mentioned Modern Family, and the whole It was funny the first couple seasons and the whole documentary style, which makes no sense because they just shoot it like a documentary. But why is this family being now recorded documentary style? If you know, I know we suspend our disbelief with comedies, but still, at some point, 6 years into the show, why is this documentary team following this family? Why? And how come we never see the documentary team? And the jerky camera movements, it's all part of the comedy, right? The jerky camera movements, the sudden extreme zooms. Once upon a time, we laughed about extreme close-ups with Wayne and Garth and Wayne's World. Go back and watch those on Saturday Night Live. But now it's de rigueur with these damn documentary shows, which everybody's doing. Park and Rec, well, that show's off the air, but that did it too. You know, with the quick zooms and the jerky camera movements to make it for comedic effect. Titan, as soon as Ty Burrell makes his joke, hits the punchline, zoom in on his face. Zoom in on his face for the comment. It'll make people laugh. It's the exact same thing as the stupid audience laugh tracks that were oftentimes fake. All the time you watch How I Met Your Mother, Neil Patrick Harris mentioned once again on this show, every time you watch How I Met Your Mother and you hear that laugh track, know that laugh track is completely fake. They put that in afterwards. And they had to, because that show had so many cutaway scenes, was done so much like a Family Guy episode where there's all these cutaways to something they mention and whoosh, oh gosh, they overused that sound effect on that show. Whoosh, whoosh, however that goes, like that. And you get so sick of that sound effect after a while. And then if you watch that entire How I Met Your Mother show from beginning to end, like I did, unfortunately, you realize that there was no reason to watch it. It had a horrible ending nobody liked. Well, now I've done all that reviewing, but there's one more thing. I would like to point one thing out. I do have this part of my review I'd like to give.
Mike's absolutely useless review.
My absolutely useless review concludes with Sherlock. Okay, they hardly ever make Sherlock. They make him once every couple of years. Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman. I watched the last one they made where he's in some sort of dream state and he goes back because he took a lot of drugs and he's trying to figure out an ancient crime because Moriarty has somehow returned from the dead. Plot-wise, the show has so many holes. That particular episode had so many holes. The crime that was really never explained. They didn't wrap up the mystery at all. But the dialogue is so well written and is so funny. And just the whole pacing of it and the cinematography, it's just so enjoyable for that particular episode that they did around Christmas of last year. I was so happy to watch it yet again, but yet it has its flaws. For a good mystery to be tied up nicely, watch the show Hercule Poirot, or just Poirot, with David Suchet, which I've talked about many times. That has some wonderful little mysteries that are wrapped up, and it'll be like a 2-hour-long episode. They don't make it anymore. Hercule Poirot, in fact, died in the final episode, and I gave it away, didn't I? Well, it says so in the title of the show when you find it on Netflix. All right, let's. Did you say you want to say something, Valentino?
Yeah, well, Costco is a crazy clusterfuck.
Yeah, Mike, it's that. Do you know that? Oh.
It's pretty interesting.
So Mike has a podcast that it has some hilarity in it that I've not yet heard, actually. But anyway, we'll talk later. Well, some people have heard it. I know that. More people than have heard mine.
That's true. Oh, one more TV show I wanted to mention. Dating Naked. Yes, I watched that. Am I a perv? I don't know. But I watch it when I'm at work, and it's on VH1 on a Saturday afternoon. I will say it makes you feel good, that show, because it makes you realize that any date you've ever experienced that went horribly wrong just does not compare to the dates that go horribly wrong on that show, because they're naked. They're naked, and they're just, they're exposed. And then they're having to have a conversation. And when you see the date go bad, it's like, yeah, the date went bad and you're naked. And they saw you. At least in the real world, when you have a date that goes bad, like I'm saying, it only progresses to the restaurant part. And then at the end of the restaurant, you shake hands and good night, and it didn't go well. At least you still had your clothes on. But in the episode that I watched, there was this guy that turned down an ultra-hot blonde Hayden Panettiere. Is that the girl from Nashville that's been recently re-upped? They're going to do more episodes of that on CMT. The Heroes girl, right? There was a girl that looked like her, even hotter than her, and the guy turned her down. And she was naked. I don't understand. Things must be good on that island or wherever they shoot that. Dating naked. Whatever. No, I'm not a fan of the trying to survive while you're naked one. That one just gets a little too, I feel uneasy. I have to take a shower after watching that one. It looks like, oh my God, they're doing that? And they just got poison oak there? Ooh. My question to you as we wrap up this part of the show is, why do people in public places, aka malls, feel the need to not look where they're going? And then also take up as much room as possible. People literally expand when they walk into a mall. They're sort of like those sea monkeys. Put them in water and they expand. That people go into a mall and they get bigger and they take up as much. You cannot, if you're in a hurry, do not walk through a mall, is all I'm saying. Is all I'm saying in a mall. People expand, and then they feel the need to take up as much room as possible so no one can get around them. Thank you, America. And then finally, I think I missed a curse word in the last show. Oh well. Hey, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com is a wonderful website to go to find all the past podcast pictures. Oh, speaking of which.
And here's today's podcast picture.
I met a deer at the fair, at the Alameda County Fair, and it was nice. I had never touched a deer before, so that was a cool thing, because my dog likes to chase after them, and this deer was so sweet. Deers make good pets. Deer. I do know how to pluralize deer. It's deer. Okay, thank you for the grammar lesson. MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. See that picture, see past podcast pictures. Help out the show through the Amazon link. Click on that and buy whatever it is you're going to buy on Amazon, and that helps us out. And there's also the PayPal link. If you'd like to donate to the show, you'll get a special greeting from all the Cafe Anyway characters, including you, Madame Rootabega. Michael Matthew, I would be happy to say hi to the listener, because they are just being so informed by you right now. Right now, yes, they are. Right now! And we're going to get to the segment, the Wow, That's Wild files. And there's also the past interviews that I've done, all kinds of fun stuff there at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Here we go with the segment.
The Wow, That's Wild files.
Are you a fan of Hamilton? Are you a fan? Alexander Hamilton. And so much that I haven't done, but just you wait. Lin-Manuel Miranda. And the hip-hop musical Hamilton. Very popular these days. Of course, recasting the characters that were probably white and adding some color to the story of Hamilton. But you know, in fact, that there was a Hamilton who was black. In fact, Wall Street's first black millionaire was Jeremiah Hamilton. And there is a book called Prince of Darkness, The Untold Story of Jeremiah Hamilton, Wall Street's first black millionaire. It's by Shane White. Black, white, everything isn't just black and white. There's shades of gray. And in this article that I found from What's Happening Tri-City Voice, it says, though he showed up, Jeremiah Hamilton, in New York City in the wake of scandal, nobody knew for sure where Jeremiah G. Hamilton had come from. Some sources said that he was born in the Caribbean, which he had admitted to, but he also claimed Richmond, Virginia as his first home. Nobody knew, though, because Hamilton, an African-American man, spent most of his adult life hiding facts and creating fiction. Wherever he got his start, Hamilton launched himself early. In 1828, and barely into his 20s, he was involved in a counterfeit scam in Haiti that would have meant death, but had he been caught. With the help of locals, however, he escaped and arrived in Gotham, but not without notice. Newspapers of the day splashed the story, but Hamilton managed to keep mum on who'd helped him. Almost immediately, he started borrowing money in a frenetic, almost desperate way, money he had no intention of paying back, which ultimately landed Hamilton in court. There were at least 10 lawsuits against him between 1830 and 1835, and there may have been more. Then came the Great Fire of 1835, in which dozens of acres of Manhattan were burned to the ground. In 1835, along with the records of several businessmen who had been convinced to invest with Hamilton, Jeremiah Hamilton denied the transactions and kept their $25,000. And he gained the moniker of Prince of Darkness for the rest of his life. Even after being forced to declare bankruptcy, Hamilton always landed on his feet. He was shunned by other African Americans and even invested in companies that overtly practiced racism. He died in 1875 in a comfortable and elegant residence he shared with his white wife and family. So why are history books silent on Hamilton's story? That's a question that author Shane White had after he discovered Hamilton's name and began digging. Could it have been due to the color of Hamilton's skin? It's possible, White says, but in Prince of Darkness, he also indicates that the lack of documentation may have been because Hamilton rankled white financiers and investors and didn't appear to care that he had done so. Interesting.
It's pretty interesting.
Well, let's go outside a cafe anyway. We're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. That interesting fact, courtesy of the What's Happening Tri-City Voice. A paper that is printed not too far from where I work in Fremont. So, I wanted to mention one other thing, and that is when I go to my other job in Pleasanton, there's a guy I work with who talks about a girl that he introduced me to a girl via Facebook, and he always, whenever I see him, refers to her, even though she and I only met once for a couple of beers. He always goes, "Hey, how's your girlfriend?" And it's very annoying. She's not my girlfriend, but my friend likes to have fun with me. "How's your girlfriend?" What a punk. Hey, speaking of hot girls, I was at Fairmont Ridge in Podcaster Valley with Basil the Boxer. He was so happy, as was I, to meet a hot girl with a Cane Corso. A Cane Corso looks as close to a lion as you can get with a dog. This head looks kind of like a lion's head. They usually clip the ears and make them really small for some stupid reason. But the dog is brindle, kind of like the way Basil's brindle, and this dog was maybe 3 months old, already had huge paws, and was pretty big, but Basil is bigger, and the two kind of played a little bit. And this girl was unbelievable. She had an accent. She was from Spain, so she had an accent. She had on an amazing outfit. Like, you know, all women, you wear these yoga pants, what the deal? So tight. Only hers kind of had this cool, like, design on them. Sort of a black print on a white background. And then she had this bleached blonde hair, huge eyes. Oh my. What a... And so I had some fare tickets in my pocket, because one of my jobs... He said, "Hey, you want some tickets to the Alameda County Fair?" Which, you know, I mentioned earlier in the podcast picture. And I said, "Thank you, I'll take those tickets." And then I realized yesterday that I will not be able to go to the fair. I'm too busy. And it closes on Friday. So I was just about to give her the tickets, and I said, no. Why should I give her the tickets just because she's beautiful? This might be why I'm single. But I ended up giving the tickets to a family that was walking their dog, and I felt good about that. They seemed to be quite happy. So no matter what your family is, and no matter who you find attractive, maybe women from Spain or Anja Manuel from C-SPAN 2, or perhaps you are a big fan of horribly done Disney movies and shows like Peabody and Sherman, Star Wars, Lego TV, the Smurf movie, etc., etc. Whatever, I hope you have a great 4th of July. I'm not going to do a podcast on the 4th of July. I've decided no. I had the day off from both jobs. I got things to do. I'm going to enjoy myself. Basil the Boxer and I, maybe we'll run into that hot lady from Spain and her Connie Corso again. And perhaps not. Perhaps is what I'm saying. Next show, we will have Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the Engineer. And remember, buy the damn rotisserie chicken. And then get the hell out of that Costco. It's a clusterfuck.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!